June. The Mojave was hot on that day, just like every other fucking day. But even the heat couldn't distract from that blue and yellow idiot, tall as a tree and twice as thick. I had him zeroed at 500 meters. Then I saw what he was dragging behind, attached to a boom collar. A Legionnaire. This was going to be good. Entertaining, at least. I thought to myself as I nudged Cal, my spotter, and pointed to our guests. One draped in a duster, leather gear, and a very inconspicuous Vault-Tec jumpsuit. The other, hands bound and covered in ragged red that screamed cruelty. The latter was in for a hell of a time if left in my care. Ranger Station Sierra came to attention quick. Service rifles pointed in the general direction of the visitors. The tall one, in a vague saunter, walks up to the gatekeeper, babbles something I'm too far away to hear. I manage to read "standing before the law" from his lips, but not much else. Then I went back to watching that endless horizon. Kim doesn't pay me to snoop. He pays me to keep the world from caving in. Again. Tumbleweed and Gex are my bread, and this 308 is my butter. The camp stirred behind me, bothering my laser focus. Well, maybe more like static focus. Then came time to switch with Cal. His turn on the 308, my turn spotting. Not even 30 seconds into my watch, my radio buzzed. Pickle, come in, over. I responded in kind. Speaking, over. After a short pause, I was instructed to make my way to Colonel Briggs' tent. I could feel the hairs on my neck stand at attention. I made my way down the rusted steps, across the courtyard, past the men whom I was told respected me, and into Briggs' tent. Sierra was an old pre-war gas station, but Briggs, ever the everyman, decided to set up his own tent. It wasn't spacious, but it was big enough for a desk, cabinet, and a few personal items. And there was Briggs, sat at his desk, across from the vault dweller. They were chatting calmly, each with a bourbon in hand and a pleasant expression. "Captain," Briggs said, "I'd like you to meet Barry. He's going to help us win the war." Thankfully, I was still wearing my helmet. Otherwise, they'd have both seen my scowl of distrust. The vault dweller rose, extended his hand, and smiled. I took his hand, gave it one shake. "You gonna keep me in suspense, or what?" I asked. Briggs turned to the dweller, and the dweller spoke, in a refined, if playful, manner. "The prisoner I came with is one of Caesar's thinkers. He knows every camp, cache, and supply chain. The Legion of the Legion. Past, present, and potential. Pleased with himself, the dweller took another swig of bourbon. "And how, pray tell, did you come by him?" My voice buzzed over the mic in my helmet. "I was up on the outskirts of that pretty monument you NCR talk so fondly of, a little ways east, when I saw a roving band of the Reds. And this one here, Johnny, came up and pissed on my favorite rock, a little too far from his buddies. A few years back, I lost someone special to the bastards, so I thought I'd have some fun with him. 4.5 toes later, he was all too willing. The dweller was cut off by a sharp crack. A 9mm fired straight into the air, which could only mean one thing. They were here for the rat. I pulled my 1911 from its home on my thigh and turned. But before I could join the fight, Briggs stopped me. "Pickle, I need you to get this boy and the prisoner to the strip. Get them there safe, and we may be able to beat these fuckers off Hoover Dam and back into hell." Despite my many objections, questions, and complaints, I saluted the colonel and gave him a reply. "Aye, aye, sir." The crack of rifles became consistent, like warring crickets. The dweller and I rushed to find the rat. I looked back briefly to see Cal giving them hell. Proud, I turned back to running towards our guest.